All right. Deuce Loosely wants to know what we think about how WWE will handle Adrian Neville's debut on the main roster. Will he be repackaged? So overall, there is a belief that WWE will not use Adrian Neville as he is right now, and that when they bring him up to the main roster, again, rumors, internet, believe it for what it is, that Adrian Neville can't compete as is on the main Raw roster, and the example given is Matt Sydal. What was his name?
Evan
Bourne. So I don't know why I know Matt Sydal, not Evan Bourne. That's weird. So anyways, yeah, for some reason, everyone's kind of like equating them because of similar wrestling styles. But to me, we're like ignoring the fact that he can do a good character and that he is pretty good on the mic overall. The people that he was bouncing off of, as far as, you know, whether it's Sami Zayn or Titus O'Neil or Brodus Clay, I mean, those were interesting stories regardless of what you think of Adrian Neville as far as his size and his wrestling style. So I don't know. Nick, are you with the idea that he has to be repackaged to fit in the WWE scope, or what? I mean, how do you think that they will handle Adrian Neville on the main roster?
I don't think he has to be repackaged in order to succeed. And given the trend, I was going to say given the trend with past champs, that wouldn't be the case. But Big E has undergone a lot of transformation since he's been on the main roster. In fact, outside of the Shield and the Wyatts, maybe Bo Dallas, everybody else that's gone up has been repackaged to hell. Or if not repackaged, then a lot of what made them interesting trend down. Look at Paige and Emma.
You're right. Paige is a good example of, you know, they brought her in as the character she was, but then stripped the original side of it. Just made her like another diva.
Yeah, they just destroyed Emma when they brought her up. They just made her this ditz that doesn't know what's going on. They paired her up with Santina, for God's sakes. Or Santino, excuse me. Santino would have been an interesting pairing.
Yeah.
But, Adrian Neville has the tools to at least become an upper mid-carder. He can fill the same role that Dolph Ziggler's filling right now. I don't necessarily know if he'll be given that chance to succeed, just given the fact that there are so many parallels to be drawn to guys like Evan Bourne, like Kofi Kingston, who have been held down. And there's also the old saw about he's a British wrestler, he's a foreigner, and they don't typically do all that well in WWE, Sheamus notwithstanding. So, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see if he can overcome all that.
That's one thing I was going to say about someone like Adrian Neville. WWE, from what I see, they look at people whenever they bring them in, and they have a clear idea of the ceiling of these people and what sort of position they can see them filling in years to come. So would you guys say that's the book on Adrian Neville is probably no more than ever being sort of a mid-carder, upper mid-carder?
Yeah, I think that would be accurate. Adrian Neville, as great a wrestler as he is, and as good on the mic as he is, I don't necessarily see him in that same area as a John Cena, actually I see him as being better than Randy Orton, but that's just my preference. But he's no Bray Wyatt. He's not even a Sami Zayn, somebody that is just so charismatic and magnetizing that you can't help but like them. Adrian Neville he's not an acquired taste, but he's not quite as appealing as those guys.
Yeah, if you like wrestling matches, Adrian Neville is your guy. He will give you a quality wrestling match every single time. But him on the mic, and maybe it is a foreign thing. No offense, David, but you know, just the whole thing. It is kind of hard to get behind. You know, a British guy for US, just because I don't know, I'm trying to think of what it is for me. It's like, you know, I'm interested in the accent, but I either see you two ways. One is, I'm sorry. We're trying to figure out how to phrase this. It's either funny, like you're either playing a funny character, and that's just the stereotype that we have here in the US, but you're either playing a funny character or a super serious douchey character. And that's all we get. So because of that, I can't see Neville doing anything outside of that. Even though he could. He probably could. I don't necessarily want to say that he can't rise above Intercontinental Championship or where Dolph Ziggler is right now, but I'm saying based on historical evidence of how WWE handles their wrestlers and how WWE failed to allow the NXT guys to really do well outside of who they have now, outside of Bray Wyatt and the Shield. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any real opportunity to grow. And that might be a U.S. market thing, or it might be, a WWE specific thing. But that seems to be all we ever get. We never, look at Bad News Barrett. He's a guy that should be owning this place. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic, but he's either playing a really douchey guy or he's playing like a comedy thing with this Bad News Barrett thing that he's got now.
Yeah, he falls into that old movie stereotype of British people are villains.
Yeah.
Like whether it's Bond, Star Wars, anything. Like that's the stereotype. And he fits it perfectly.
I want David, I want you to respond to what I just said.
Yeah, let's keep talking about British people in front of you.
You know what? It's strange, right? Because just to mention on his accent, he's from a region in the UK, the northeast of England, places like Newcastle, and British people will know what I'm talking about here. So even to me, he doesn't, because to say British accent, we have buttloads of accents over here. It's really, for such a small country, we have more accents probably than you guys over there in the States. Bizarre accents that even some of us find hard to understand. So he hasn't even got a generic sort of, I don't know if there is such a thing, but his voice is hard to understand. So I think that is a lot of the problem. I don't want to shame the guy, but he looks kind of weird to me, right? I mean, do people have some kind of weird nicknames for him, like something from The Hobbit or something?
Not that I'm aware of, but
doesn't he have really big ears?
Well, yeah.
He does.
Oh,
I don't know the relevance of the point I'm making. But
are we talking about Bad News Barrett or Neville? Are we back to Neville?
No, talking about Adrian Neville with the accent thing. Yeah, everything I said
and
there
the
was
ears,
about Adrian
yes.
Neville.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, from what I've seen of him, he can have, like you say, some great wrestling matches. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. That's why I was asking, like, what you guys thought the ceiling. It looks like the book on him is that he'll never be more than a sort of mid-carder, really.
But
yeah, you do raise a good point.
Yeah.
You do raise a good point with like just his appearance, the accent. It's definitely not that stereotypical champion that the WWE likes to tout in their Triple H's, their John Cena's. Is very different from that sort of image.
Okay.